Chapter 8. Truth, Dare, Consequences, Promise, or Repeat. Jill made hot chocolate and served it in china teacups. Corey pretended to be a French waiter with a tea towel folded over one arm. He took Jill's vase of flowers and placed them in the center of the table. Jill was tempted to ask if he had sent them, but changed her mind. He bowed deeply and served the cocoa to the girls at the kitchen table. "Here you are, mademoiselles," he said, faking a French accent. Wendy giggled. "Aunt Audrey should hire you for our tea room, monsieur." She began talking about her friends in New York. "My best friend back home is Barbara. Her father's a senator. Barbara's a debutante. She had a huge coming-out party, and of course, I was invited. I wore a gorgeous full-length dress of sheer white georgette." Jill wondered what georgette was. She also wondered how much of Wendy's story was true. But it didn't really matter. Wendy and Corey were fun, and it seemed that Winter Haven might be a nice place to spend the summer after all. "Tell me what goes on here in the summer," Jill asked. "Well, you know about the 4th of July clam bake coming up this Saturday," Corey began. "That'll be down on the beach. Of course, there won't be any fireworks because of the war, but everyone in town will be there. Then Saturday night, dances will be starting up next week at Grange Hall. They're lots of fun. I went to those dances a couple times last year. The girls who live here are snobs." Wendy pushed her nose up with her finger. They called me one of those summercaters." Jill recalled the 3 girls in town who whispered about her. "Summercaters?" "Summer people, folks from away who come down east to vacation," Corey explained. "The local folks don't take kindly to summer people." He looked sheepish. "But I ain't like that." "No, you don't treat us that way," said Wendy. "You know, many folks around here would be out of business if it weren't for summercaters like us." "There's another big formal dance that's like a prom," Corey continued. "The Crystals and Rocks put it up on Ellsworth every summer. They call it the Crystal Ball. But you've got to be invited to that. The most popular girls around here belong to the Crystals. The boys belong to the Rocks. They're the big herbs in town. They meet at the church a couple times a month." "Can anyone join?" Jill asked. "Nah. First someone has to sponsor you. Then you got to show up at a special meeting where everyone sizes you up. If you pass inspection, they vote on whether or not they let you join or not. They have a box with white and black balls. Each person votes by putting in a white ball or a black ball. If there's even one black ball in the box, you're out. Nobody ever discovers who blackballed them." "Have you been asked to join?" Wendy asked. Corey shrugged. "Nah, they never invite me." "Why not? They're only country folk like you." Wendy stopped and looked embarrassed. "I'm sorry, Corey. There's nothing wrong with being country folk. What I mean is they're not any better than you. They're not rich, big city socialites or anything." "It makes them feel important, I guess," Corey answered. "Yeah, I don't want to join, anyhow." "Neither do I," said Jill. "What do they do in their club?" Wendy asked. "Oh, they have war bond drives. The Rocks collect cans and steel and wash cars. The girls make cookies to send to the troops. Some of them knit scarves and mittens for servicemen. They have their pictures in the local papers all the time." "I'd like to belong to the Crystals. It might be fun, but I suppose we don't have a chance." Wendy sounded disappointed. "I guess that's just the way people are around here. I can't help but wonder why Nana ever chose to move away from all her friends in Boston to live in this faraway place," Jill said. "Yep, until you came, she was all stark alone in this big house," Corey agreed. "The landscape is beautiful here," said Wendy. "She probably likes the peace and quiet." "I've wondered why your Aunt Adri lives here," said Corey. "She's so good-looking and smart. Folks say she speaks several languages." Wendy nodded. "Aunt Adri speaks French, Spanish, and German. She's traveled all over Europe, but she was born in New York State, like my mother." "It does seem strange that anyone as sophisticated as your aunt would want to live up here in the country," said Jill. "She has a good business, especially in the summer," Wendy replied. "She doesn't seem to have many friends, though. I don't know why." "People in town think she's icebound," Corey said. "She's kind of a tiptoe Nancy." Wendy drew herself up angrily. "What's that supposed to mean?" "She ain't too friendly," Corey said. "She puts on airs." "They're just jealous," Wendy snapped. "Well, you asked why she ain't got friends, so I told you." Corey turned his attention to Jill. But your grandmother has her Sunday night ladies, Jill, and did you know her pal Ida Wilmar is a German? Corey asked. Most folks stay clear of Ida. They don't like Germans these days. Just because she's a German doesn't mean she's a Nazi, Jill declared. I suppose so, said Corey, looking uncomfortable. It's just that, well, like I say, people talk round here, Jill. Corey grinned weakly. Forget it. Let's play a game. What game? Wendy asked. How about truth, dare, consequences, promise, or repeat? Corey suggested. That'll be fun, Jill agreed. I hose you to go first, Corey said. Okay, which will it be? Wendy asked. Truth, dare, consequences, promise, or repeat? I'll start with repeat, he answered. It's least dangerous. Repeat after me, Wendy ordered. I, Corey MacDonald, think that Wendy and Jill are the prettiest girls in Winter Haven. Jill laughed as she watched a flush creep over Corey's face. I, Corey MacDonald, think that Wendy and Jill are the prettiest girls in Winter Haven, he repeated. Now it's your turn, Wendy, said Jill. What'll it be? Truth, dare, consequences, promise, or repeat? Wendy hesitated. Truth, she said. Jill thought for a moment. Then she asked, do your friends back home really call you Scarlet? Wendy looked embarrassed. No, she admitted. I just like to pretend it's my name. And what about your Aunt Adri? Corey asked. How do you feel about her? Remember, you've got to tell the truth. Wendy frowned. I thought I would only get one question. Okay, fair enough, said Corey. Now it's your turn, Jill. Which is it? Truth, dare, consequences, promise, or repeat? Promise, Jill said. Promise this, said Corey. I will be a faithful friend to Wendy and Corey. Jill put up her right hand as if taking an oath. I promise to be a faithful friend to Wendy and Corey. No matter what, Wendy asked. No matter what, Jill promised. Corey leaned back. This ain't exciting enough. Let's do a dare. Who'll go first? I will, Jill said eagerly. I love a dare. Wendy waved her hand. I have the perfect dare for Jill. I dare you to get us into the crystals. That's not fair, Jill grumbled. You said we didn't stand a chance. We're summer people. They won't let us in. They will when they learn that your father is the famous Drew Winters, Wendy insisted. They'll beg you to join. And you'll get them to invite me, too. She turned to Corey. You'll have to introduce us to those snobby girls, Corey. Then it's up to Jill. Jill sank back in her chair. I don't think you'd give me anything so tough. Besides, I'm not sure I want to join the crystals. You said you loved a dare, Corey reminded her. Okay, Jill said with a resigned sigh. I'll try. I'll introduce you to Betty Whitfield, Elaine O'Brien, and Gloria Brand. They're the big three that run everything, said Corey. Elaine is the honorable counselor of the crystals. He rolled his eyes. And she don't let anyone forget it, neither. They'll be at youth fellowship at the church next Sunday afternoon. Betty's the president. Corey paused. You go to church, Jill? I know your grandmother doesn't. There you go again. I can't believe you keep such a close watch on my grandmother. Jill got up, nearly knocking over her chair. You want to know what she does on Sunday nights? You repeat gossip about her friends. You wonder why she doesn't go to church. Is there anything else you want to know? Corey didn't mean to make you mad, Wendy said soothingly. That's right. Don't get all in a lather, Jill, Corey begged. I'm right sorry. You should be, Jill declared angrily. Car lights glimmered in the kitchen window. Nana's home. Why don't you go ask her yourself? The kitchen door opened and Nana bustled in. What a beautiful moon out there. She stopped and looked from Jill to Wendy to Corey. Is everything all right? Yes, Jill answered. She smiled but set daggers in her glare at Corey. Corey is just going home. Do you want to ride? Nana asked. No thanks, Miss Winters. I have my bike. Well, be careful out there in the dark, Nana cautioned. I will. Corey stood by the door, shifting from one foot to the other. Good night. Wendy and Nana each said good night, but Jill was silent. Corey shot one final, pleading glance at her and then went out the door.